Hi, welcome to another Geography podcast with me, Mr. Baxter, and today you will know her for being the smiliest teacher in the whole Federation. There is nothing that keeps this teacher in a bad mood. I could be wrong, but say hello, Miss Leyland.
Hello.
You're never in a bad mood. Why is that? Or are you just hide it well?
I think I do just hide it well. I think I've just got a nice,
What's the
nice
secret?
Smile. I'm still new to the career, that's it.
Oh, how many years have you been doing this now? Is it 2 or 3?
This is my second year.
God,
Yeah.
is it getting easier?
Mostly.
It doesn't get any. I'll tell you now, from 7 years, I've aged terribly. Yeah, good luck. It's weird because to see this side of school, I think we were just saying that this is probably your first time in the humanities workroom.
It is, yeah.
What a treat, isn't it?
It's very small.
I'm very warm.
Yeah, very warm.
You can't turn these radiators down at all. But we're here today to talk about climate change responses. You might be good because hopefully you have a bit of knowledge of this already.
I do.
But I've realised, I was going to ask you if you do anything sustainable. But you do. We can also plug your eco club, can't
Environmental ambassadors.
we? So go on then. While we're here, when and where?
Every Thursday lunchtime, room 10 for about 15 minutes. We kind of chill, chat, and kind of decide what we can do to help the environment in school.
Ooh, what have you decided so far? Or is this all top secret?
No, so we're currently working on some slides that we can put in the notice PowerPoints.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But obviously we've got all of the boxes.
Because you guys came up with like the bins, didn't you? Those green bins.
Yeah, the big boxes in each room.
And can we dispel the myth that they actually do go to recycling? Some people
They
say
do.
they go into the same place as everything else, but
There's a
they
big
get recycled, don't they?
recycling bin near the normal bin place.
So
They do get recycled, yeah.
We can confirm that they do get recycled. Good. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about a few different responses to climate change today. If they're a good idea, can you just say good? And if they're, and this is your own opinion, if they're not very good, just say dud. So
Dud or good.
Good or dud, basically. So first one is called afforestation, planting lots of trees. In essence. At the moment, I don't know if you've seen these facts, so I'm just trying to hide them from you now. Per day, right now, as a guess in terms of million, how many trees do we chop down a day?
3
I think you've seen my answers, haven't you? 3. That's the place. We round it up. It's about 2.5 million a day.
Okay.
So the first idea we can do is stop cutting them down. But even more so, we need to start planting lots of trees.
We do.
Now, I don't know who's worked this out. Someone that just doesn't have a life has worked out that we need to plant 1 trillion trees in order to combat climate change.
Right.
Because what do trees do?
They take in our carbon dioxide.
They do, don't they? So they're a really good carbon store. So it's roughly 150 trees per person that we need to plant. This would take pretty much 1/5 of all of our land to do.
Yeah, a lot of space, yeah.
A lot of space. And they're going to have to be the really tall trees and be planted in good soils, which is not a given in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So, first one, afforestation, good or dud? Because you may well plant over 150 trees. You might be there thinking I can do that, but do you reckon we all will be?
No, I'm going to say dud.
You're going to go dud, Val. Okay, well, let's try and get you a good one. Number 2 is to grow more plankton, or these tiny organisms in the ocean. I don't know how much detail I need to go into because you probably know more than I do.
It's like the SpongeBob, isn't it?
I don't know. Do you watch SpongeBob?
Plankton on SpongeBob, yeah.
Which one's he?
The little tiny one. That like.
Is he the one that runs like the hamburger
The
place?
chum bucket.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. How do you not know SpongeBob?
Well, I know SpongeBob, and what's his friend called? He's a starfish.
Patrick
the starfish.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Okay. And Plankton, what's his name or her name?
Plankton.
Plankton.
It's called
Okay.
Plankton.
So just like SpongeBob, then, we can grow more of them because plankton are incredibly useful. Like, of all the carbon dioxide that we have, they actually absorb 1 in every 3 carbon molecules. So, yay for them. They're keeping the planet as cool as they possibly can right now. It's just so much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, we've realised that plankton not only take in carbon dioxide, they take in iron as well. So why don't we dump loads of iron into the ocean, grow the amount of plankton there are, and then the more plankton equals more carbon dioxide that's taken in by them.
Okay.
Now, the problem is we can't test this on a big scale because the worry is if we dump too much and there's too many plankton in the ocean, it could create the next ice age because we could take in too much carbon dioxide. So people are a bit scared about like actually testing it out, but like small scale, they've actually done it and it sort of worked. But also, weirdly, whale poo is very iron rich. So instead of saying we should save the trees, we should be saying save the whales.
Definitely save the
Because
whales.
whale poo, being iron rich, allows us to have lots more plankton because they eat it and then they start multiplying.
Yeah.
But when whales die as well, all the plankton that they've eaten over their lifetime, all the sort of stored carbon in them, they'll eat it and then they'll take that to the bottom of the ocean. and keep it locked there for over 1,000 years.
Yeah, nice little cycle.
Yeah, it is. So, what do you think? So this is quite a technical phrase. Ocean ionisation. Either by us dumping iron into the ocean, or just saving the whales so they poo out lots of iron. Good idea, saving the whales? Or are you more of a polar bear sort of person?
No, I say good, save the whales.
Save the whales?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, good. So we've got a good idea. Number 3, we've got something called a space mirror or a space umbrella.
Okay.
I didn't realise it's so expensive to send something into space. For 1 kilogram worth of weight to shoot that into the atmosphere costs about £20,000, which is a lot, because you can imagine a massive rocket is a lot more. Probably why we've not been into space or landed on the moon since 1972. Anyway, since the 70s, people have come up with some crazy ideas about how we can maybe block out the sun.
Yeah.
You're turning your nose a bit this idea. I'm trying. This is my favourite one. All right.
Okay.
So the latest, most plausible idea is that we can fly 16 trillion flying robot. I'll say that again. 16 trillion. They all weigh like less than a gram, which is less than a butterfly. We shoot them up into space, and then all of these trillion flying robots are attached with a very thin layer. So once they're into space, they open out and create this sort of shield, which will block off.
So like they're holding hands.
Yeah, they're holding hands. Yeah, and then they go into space like we're free, and then they open up to create a shield that's about 60,000 miles wide, and it'll block out about 3% of the sun to reduce our temperature.
But how are you going to make those robots? Surely you need factories which are going to create CO2 emissions to make the robot.
There's no pleasing some people. I'm feeling like you're going to dud this one. I thought that was quite a good idea.
I like it.
They're only tiny robots.
Nice.
Maybe
it'd
robots
be cute to imagine like little robots holding hands above the earth. If they could find a sustainable way to make them, then good. If they're just going to pump more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, then dud. For the short term, but what about like ultimately once the robots are done? I don't know how long they're going to last because this hasn't really actually been done. Yeah, to be fair then.
But once they're up there, surely maybe it's like, hey, they're there forever and we can then shut down all the factories.
Yeah.
So we're saying good.
Good.
Change your mind.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Right, number 4. We've got something called carbon capture and storage. This is sort of directly from the textbook, so I wonder if this is done in science as well.
Potentially.
Okay, you're off duty now. What time is it? It's past 5 o'clock.
We don't do it in. It's more chemistry. It comes up.
Right. Okay.
So it's not a biology topic.
Oh, okay, right. So maybe, but I have to check the syllabus.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 22 projects in the world where you basically think about a normal sort of power station and all like the carbon dioxide that's coming out of the top in smoke.
I do know what about. Yeah.
And it's basically to sort of trap that gas before it leaves and then we never see it again and it heats us up. So there's 22 of these in the world. The UK has actually pledged over £1 billion to sort of start some of these plants in our country because we haven't got any yet. A lot of them are in America or Canada. So say, right, we're going to capture all this gas that leaves and we're going to cool it down.
Okay.
And we're going to cool it down into a liquid. It's got a great name. It's called supercritical carbon dioxide. Mm-hmm. And then we've got all this liquid with carbon in. What should we do with it then? I'm not telling you this. I'm going to hide you my sheet. If you've got all this liquid with carbon dioxide in...
Can we put it into, like, fizzy drinks factories?
What a great idea. I don't know. I feel like
That's what the little bubbles are. Yeah, I drink fizzy water. So I'm kind of on the edge. Flavoured fizzy water.
Oh, that's even worse. Because if you're drinking fizzy water, my mind thinks I'm drinking lemonade. But it's like, where's the flavour? So
that's
I'm
why
all a
you
bit
get
confused.
lemon and lime flavoured water. It's healthier than lemonade.
Because I actually have 12 fillings, believe it or not.
Gosh,
because when I was younger, my parents just said, have 2 litres a bottle of Coke every day. And now literally I have loads of fillings.
I have none.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, okay, right. Well, I guess we'll listen to you and my dentist and say
I do have to drink through a straw now because of the fizzy water.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, God. They're turning into an agony on this podcast. Jeez. I've got to sleep with a gum guard because I keep chomping my teeth. But anyway. So we can get this gas, not give it to carbon dioxide and fizzy drink companies, but how about we just put it underground? Because if it's underground, it's not in the atmosphere. Do you see any problems? Because some people think this is like the most stupid idea.
Isn't that going to create maybe an explosion one day?
Well, the thing is, who knows? Because we're still sort of playing around with this idea. But having gas underground doesn't seem like the best thing to do.
No.
So capturing carbon, good idea in the future.
It's just saving it for a later date, isn't it? I'm going to say dud.
Dud for that one. Number 5. Right, we can have international laws, and the most recent one we had is called the Paris Agreement. Okay. So in 2015, 5 years ago now, my goodness, all the countries met to say, by global law, you all have to now reduce your carbon emissions.
Yes.
Every country signed up apart from
the big one.
The United States of America, which I've got this fact. They pollute as much, or actually more, than the UK, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and Turkey combined. So they're the second biggest polluters behind which country that's now gone above them?
China.
China, good. Yeah. China number 1. So if they haven't got enough to deal with this coronavirus, it's like their pollution is crazy. So get those masks on.
Maybe there's a link.
They could well.
You never know.
Yeah, they could well be something to do with like dirty air and mutation of diseases. You're not going on the school China trip, are you?
No.
Not now.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is. I don't know if you can get your money back or not. So we could have these laws. The problem is now America's started to withdraw because Barack Obama, he was like, yeah, we're all for the environment and save the world and whatever.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump was like, we're not going to bother with that. The thing is, it takes like 3 years to actually leave. So America don't actually officially leave until November this year, 2020. And at that point, they'll probably never come back. So they can pollute as much as they want. So I guess for that one then, what do you think? Because loads of countries are legally bound and we don't know exactly what's going to happen if they don't lower their emissions. Probably some sort of big fine or slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
But America have withdrawn, so...
I think it's good in principle, but without America then it's going to be a dud.
How could we get them back on side? I don't think there's anything we can really do.
Probably get a new president.
Maybe a new president. Oh, you heard it here first. Sorry if you're a Donald Trump supporter. That's Miss Leyland's views, not my own. Right, we've got one more. So all of those were called mitigation. So this is sort of like getting to the root problem of like having too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and trying to reduce that.
Yeah.
The problem is, as maybe it's becoming clear, these things are going to take a long time to do.
Very long time.
But are we having impacts of climate change right now?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Loads of things going on. One of the big ones is the sea is rising.
Yes, it is.
It's really bad.
It's polar bears.
It's always the polar bears. Why? So we need to be like protecting, particularly the people. Forget the polar bears. If we just protect the people near the coast, so we can build sea defences.
Yes.
We can build a massive sea wall. So in Japan, they had a massive earthquake and tsunami in 2011. This is something we teach lower down school as well, but it was one of the biggest earthquakes ever.
Potentially.
And it's made worse because it was underwater, create like a huge wave.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. We do about it because it's the closest I can get to swearing in class because there's a big power station that got affected called the Fukushima power station.
Yeah.
So we just do that just for a cheap laugh, to be honest. So they've said, well, if there's any more tsunamis or if the sea rises anymore, all of our sea wall that we had has all been completely collapsed. So we're just going to build a brand new one. They are spending, I've got this price here, 1.3 trillion yen, which roughly equates to £10 billion, to make a 12-metre high seawall.
Okay.
And it's going to be 400 kilometres. So could we just build loads of seawalls near people who live near the sea? So when the sea rises, it doesn't matter because you've got a big wall in the way.
Yeah, I reckon. But then who's
going to be against that idea, do you think? Because we could do it, couldn't we?
We could. I suppose it ruins our kind of coastal areas, doesn't it, though? You don't want to go to like a beach and see a big wall.
Well, this is it. I've got a quote from one of these Japanese fishermen who no longer can see the sea because there's this massive wall in the way. It feels like we're in jail, even though we haven't done anything bad. I'm sure if we translated that to Japanese, it would be a bit harsher, but the PG version is that, you should see an absolutely huge one out. They do have a few little windows in, but
even worse.
It seems a bit like, look what you could have won. I guess you're best not knowing that you're actually near the sea anymore.
And especially as the UK, we would be like a prison island.
We would do. All the way around. We would be the new Australia.
Yeah.
As it were. So, seawalls, last one, good or dud?
Dud.
You're not sure. A dud?
Dud, yeah, dud.
Okay, so ultimately what we've decided today is climate change is hard to respond to, and there doesn't seem to be, at this point in time, too many good ideas, apart from planting trees.
Yeah.
Of course you say that.
And the whales, the plankton and the whales.
Save the whales and save the polar bears.
Yeah.
Great. We'll have to get some pin badges done.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy some for my group.
Another plug for the eco group. Yeah. Pin badges will save the world. We've solved it here first.
Yeah.
Right, cool. Right, that's goodbye from me. And goodbye from Miss Leyland.
Goodbye.